You know, if the start of the college football season is normally like Christmas to us college football fans, then this season has been like Hanukkah, right? We've had a bunch of starts to the season. Seems like forever ago the season started initially with teams no one cared about. Then a couple of weeks after that, you had the ACC and the Big 12 start playing. And then a couple of weeks after that, you had the SEC jump in. And now this weekend, the Big 10. This is like Hanukkah. Shout out to Celine Driver, the king of the Jews. Yeah, good morning and that, but it's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou. And I'm live for you on LouTube today. Hey, thanks for watching. You know, I really appreciate it also. And in addition to that as well, subscribe to this channel if you're not already. I post college football videos almost every single day of the year. And guess what? Some of them are even watchable. That's right. And if you're a Big Ten fan, this video will be watchable because in today's video, I'm going to give you a preview and a prediction for all the games coming up in what is week 1 of the Big Ten, week 8 of the college football season, but week 1 of the Big Ten, and we're going to do it right now. All right, you guys know the deal by now, but I've been lucky enough the last few years to work with the good people over at www.betnow.eu. They can take care of you on all your sports betting needs. Check them out, betnow.eu. There's a link in the description of this video that'll take you over there. All the numbers that I use in this video, the spreads, the odds, the over-unders, all that stuff comes straight from the site over at betnow.eu, and they're accurate as of about 10 a.m. earlier this morning. When you get signed up over there, make sure you use the promo code Uncle Lou. That's one word, all lowercase letters, Uncle Lou, and they're going to give you a bonus on whatever you deposit. Check them out, betnow.eu. All right, here we go. Let's jump right in. Big Ten has given us a game on Friday this week. That's right, a Friday night game, 8 o'clock over on the Big Ten Network. First Big Ten game of the season featuring Illinois. That's right, with head coach Lovie Smith, the Black Santa Claus, on the road at Wisconsin with the jump around. Not much jumping around at Wisconsin or anywhere in the Big Ten this year for that matter, but Wisconsin is the host and they're a 19.5 point road favorite. Wisconsin is one of the most consistently good teams in college football, it seems like. You can close your eyes, not know anything about Wisconsin, guess that they're going to win 10 games, and you're most likely going to be right or within one game up or down. I'm sure the same will be true again this year. Now, of course, Jonathan Taylor is gone. He's been their running back and really their workhorse and main offensive weapon for the past 3 seasons. Over 2,000 yards for them all 3 seasons that he was there. He's gone off to the NFL. Illinois, on the other hand, consistently and what seems like forever, one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. However, they did manage to beat Wisconsin last year somehow in a game I still don't understand. Wisconsin started out 4-0, 5-0, something like that. They were beating everybody they played 55-0, it seemed like. You had 3 shutouts in the first 5 games of the season last year before running into the buzzsaw that was the Fighting Illini of Illinois. Can Illinois repeat that miracle this year and win on the road in Madison, Wisconsin? No, they can't. I still don't know how they won last year. What was a bigger upset? Illinois beating Wisconsin or South Carolina beating Georgia? Those were 2 of the biggest upsets in college football last year. Neither one of those things is repeating this year, is it, Shamecock man? No, it's not. An Illinois man, if any exist, which I'm not sure do, not happening this year. Friday night game, that's always difficult on the traveling team, which in this case is Illinois. I'm going to take Wisconsin big in this one and lay the 19.5 points. All right, moving to Saturday, and we're going to start with the noon games and go up through the prime time games. And there's good games in the Big Ten on Saturday at all 3 time slots. Kicking it off at noon, Nebraska on the road at Ohio State. One of the best 3 games of the weekend, I think, in the Big Ten. Ohio State's a 26-point home favorite in this one. Ohio State was a covering machine last year. If you bet college football last year, you know this to be true. Ohio State was, how many games did they play? 14. They were 12-2 against the spread. They were 11-1 in the regular season against the spread. They covered in the Big Ten title game, and then they did not cover, of course, in their playoff loss to Clemson, but they were 12-2 against the spread last year. So if you think 26 is a lot of points, it is. Nebraska was bad last year. Nebraska, one of the most disappointing teams versus expectations in all of college football last season. This is now year 3 for Scott Frost. They just announced that Adrian Martinez is going to be the starting quarterback again. I don't know if that surprises anyone, but I don't think that it should. He was a Heisman candidate heading into the season last year. Now, that evaporated very quickly last year. They were, like I said, they were a huge disappointment. I'm going to be honest, I don't see any way Nebraska loses this game. Can they keep it within 26? Maybe Ohio State did lose some significant talent to graduation in the NFL last year, but Ohio State loses significant talent to the NFL and to graduation every single year. They recruit in the top 5 every single year. They're loaded with talent at all the key positions. They did bring in a transfer running back to try to help with the loss of J.K. Dobbins. Of course, Justin Fields comes back on everyone's Heisman list. He's 2nd or 3rd. He hasn't played yet. Mac Jones on the list. Trevor Lawrence on the list. Travis Etienne on the list. Justin Fields is right there with those guys. If he can if he can do this year what he did last year, numbers-wise, he'll be in New York again as a Heisman finalist. I think Ohio State can cover the 26. Like I said, they were a covering machine last year. I bought into some of the Nebraska hype last offseason, so it's kind of once bitten, twice shy type of thing here for me. I'm not buying into the hype at Nebraska anymore until I see them do it on the field. Hard to imagine that's going to happen this week when they have to go to Columbus and take on a top 5 Ohio State team, probably top 3 Ohio State team. I'm going to take the Buckeyes, late at 26. All right, also at 12 o'clock over on the Big Ten Network, we've got Rutgers on the road at Michigan State. Rutgers' worst team in the Big Ten, Michigan State. Another disappointing team last year. They decided to go a different direction. They've changed coaches, bringing in ex-Georgia defensive coordinator and ex-Colorado head coach, Mel Tucker. That's right, Mel Tucker takes over for the Spartans. There is at East Lansing, I believe it is. East Lansing, and Michigan State's a 13.5-point favorite. That's a lot of points for what I think are 2 pretty bad teams. Michigan State has had a pretty good defense the last 3 or 4 years with no offense at all. Last year, the defense started to show signs of not really being that great either. I went back and forth on this one, and I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't bet 1 penny on this game in real life, but for the purposes of this video, I have to make a pick. Shout out to Comic Dude. He's a caller on the night show, and he's actually in the band for the University of Rutgers. Of course, no bands are participating in the Big Ten this year, so he'll have to sit this one out. But he's a good guy. He's been calling into the show a long time. He called in the other day. I told him I would pick Michigan or Rutgers in today's video. So here I is doing today's video. Give me Rutgers and the 13.5. All right, 3:30 over on Fox Sports 1. This might be one of the weirdest lines of the week. Penn State on the road at Indiana, and Penn State's only a 6-point favorite. And when you first glance at it, that seems awfully low. But we have to remember Penn State has lost its best player on its team. Micah Parsons chose to opt out several months ago. They also lost their starting running back not that long ago. Rumor is they may have some coronavirus issues. There's a couple of teams in the Big Ten that may have some corona issues heading into week 1. Before you bet on any of these games, make sure you're looking into those kinds of things. Any information you can find about players who might be sitting out, weather in these cities, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you look into that stuff before you bet these games. I was very high on Penn State over the summer when I did my preview and prediction videos. But you have to remember, I did those videos long before anyone ever chose to opt out, long before any seasons were canceled or rearranged or schedules were shortened or anything like that. I picked Penn State to win the Big Ten. I know Ohio State is the favorite. They're clearly an amazing team. The favorite doesn't win every single year, though, and sometimes you have to pick an upset or two. It wouldn't be a huge upset for Penn State to win the Big Ten, at least not when I made that prediction back in the summer. I think the chances are a lot longer now that Penn State can actually get that done. I think they've lost some pieces that they just can't replace. With that being said, I'm going to have to see it. I'm going to have to be proven wrong before I jump completely off the Penn State train. I think they're a better team than Indiana. I get it. They have to travel. 6 points just does not seem like nearly enough to me. They've still got a pretty good defense. Their quarterback is okay. They've got one of the best tight ends in America. Their running game has seemed to be okay. Going back to Saquon Barkley, no matter who they have to replace, their running game seems to be okay. I think they can win this game on the road against Indiana by more than a touchdown, possibly 14 to 17 points. I'm going to lay to 6. Give me Penn State on the road. 3:30 on the Big Ten Network. Iowa at Purdue. Iowa gets too much credit, in my opinion. Kirk Ferentz gets too much credit, in my opinion. People are under the impression that Iowa just wins 9 or 10 games a year. It's just not true. Now, do they play above their pay grade? In other words, if you look at their recruiting, do they outperform versus their recruiting? Maybe, but not a lot. And they don't score a lot of points. They're a boring team, really, in my opinion, to watch. They play pretty good defense. They did beat Minnesota last year, but that's sort of the point. They seem to beat somebody like Minnesota almost every year, and then they still manage to lose 4 or 5 games a year. I don't see any reason why that won't be the case again this year. Purdue, on the other hand, Rondale Moore, he opted out over the summer. He has since changed his mind and is going to play this season for Purdue. One of the most exciting players in all of college football. If you haven't seen Rondale Moore play, watch some of this game, 3:30 on Saturday. He's one of the most exciting wide receivers and playmakers in all of college football. He beat Ohio State almost by himself a couple of years ago. It was just unbelievable to see. Purdue actually led the Big Ten in passing last year, which is kind of a crazy stat if you think about it. I think most people would assume maybe Ohio State. It was actually Purdue led the Big Ten in passing, and that was using 4 different quarterbacks due to some injuries and some other things where they were shuffling quarterbacks around. Their best quarterback, their starter, is healthy now and is getting the start again this year. I think Purdue wins this game outright. I don't even want the 3 points. Like I said, I'm a little lower on Iowa than the average person. It's not like I think Purdue's going to win 8 games. You got to remember the Big Ten's only playing 8 games. They're not great either, but I think they're going to win this game. I think Rondale Moore has a huge day. Purdue's at home. I like home underdogs. Give me the Boilermakers on the money line. All right, 2 primetime games in the Big Ten. Up first, the College Game Day game, the ESPN game of the week. 7:30 on ABC. Michigan is a 3-point road favorite at Minnesota. Minnesota's another team that may have some COVID issues heading into this game. Minnesota could be a really good team this year. Coronavirus aside, obviously that can affect any team, and we don't really know what's going to happen with that. They had 18 players returning from last year's team that, of course, won 11 games, including a big bowl game over Auburn. They came 1 game short of winning their division, but they had a really good year, the best year they've had since really the 1930s. Up there at Minnesota, people are excited about P.J. Fleck, the whole row your boat thing, definitely catching on. Great season last year for Minnesota. Another disappointing season for Michigan. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Were they a bad team? No. But Michigan just has been unable to get over the hump. They haven't been able to win their division in forever, much less the Big Ten, or come anywhere close to making a playoff. Jim Harbaugh has seemed to struggle almost every single year, finding any consistency on the offensive side of the ball. There's been some years where their defense was great. There's been some years where they've had some playmaking wide receivers. There's even been a year or two where they had some pretty good running backs. Quarterback's been their main issue, and they just haven't been able to beat Ohio State or really put a full season together to get where they want to go. Will this be the year that they can do it? I don't know. They've got a new quarterback there. Milton, is that his name? McCaffrey, of course, is gone. This is a tough one for me to pick. If everybody's healthy, give me Minnesota. I don't know what's going on up there with the corona issue. I'm going to take Minnesota in the 3 points. I probably won't bet this game till Saturday, though. I got to see how many people they actually have sitting out for this coronavirus. But I do think Minnesota's a better team. Give me the Golden Gophers and the 3 points in that. All right, and last and least, Maryland on the road at Northwestern. This is another one that's a little weird to me. Northwestern is an 11-point home favorite. Now, Northwestern's had a couple of good years under Pat Fitzgerald, but not last year. They weren't great. Maryland, on the other hand, I think is heading in the right direction. I like their coaching staff. I like Loxley. Let's not forget they got a transfer in Pineapple Jr. from Alabama to Talia or whatever the hell. Nobody knows these people's name. I don't name these people, so it's not my job to say their name right. If you want people to say your name right, don't have an unpronounceable name. Probably the best thing I can tell you. But the point is, Maryland does have Pineapple Jr. Now, they came out and said they're not going to announce a starter until the game. I don't know if it's going to be Pineapple Jr. or not. What I do know is that I actually think Maryland is a better team than Northwestern with or without Pineapple Jr. I was very surprised that Northwestern was an 11-point favorite here. Again, check coronavirus news, check the injury reports on these things. I'll wait till Saturday to bet this game, but all things, if everybody is good, I like Maryland here to possibly win the game. I might play Maryland on the money line here. That's a huge payout on the money line. For the video purposes, give me Maryland in the points. If you're more confident in Maryland even than I am, though, this is one worth playing on the money line, but I'm going to take the Terps. All right, there you have it. The Big Ten back in action this weekend. Finally, right? Seems like forever we've been waiting on these guys to start playing. Shout out to all the Big Ten fans. You guys have been through a roller coaster of emotions. We all have as college football fans, but Big Ten and Pac-12 fans in particular, when the season got yanked out from underneath you there, seemingly out of the blue, I can't imagine as a college football fan what that must have felt like. I'm glad the Big Ten decided to get back in, and I'm glad the Pac-12 decided to get back in. They start in 2 more weeks. We'll start covering them too. But I'm happy for all the Big Ten fans that have been on this channel. And there are a lot of them. A lot of Ohio State fans, Penn State fans, Maryland fans, Rutgers fans, Michigan State, Nebraska, Wisconsin. There's fans from all over the Big Ten that have participated on this channel over the years. I couldn't be any happier for you guys that y'all are going to get a season. And, I'm an SEC guy. I love watching the Big Ten too. Now, it's going to be a little bit frustrating for me this weekend for obvious reasons, because I have to watch the best quarterback Georgia's ever had, Justin Fields, playing for Ohio State, while we continue to get a 5'8", 3-star walk-on ready to take on Kentucky in 10 days. Georgia's off this weekend, of course. But anyway, I don't want to get started on that. This video will be nine hours long. I'm happy for the Big Ten fans. I hope you guys enjoy this weekend's games. I hope all your teams win. Be sure and let me know down below which picks you disagree with. Check out betnow.eu and make yourself some money on these games. Be safe and be responsible. Don't gamble your mortgage payment. This is just entertainment, so keep that in mind. Don't want anybody filing bankruptcy because you can't pick football winners. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Love you, and have a good morning.